Fantastic. So hello and welcome everyone. I'm going to mute everybody and we're going to have, as usual, question and answer at the end of this webinar. Today is webinar 4 and we're going to talk about the power of communication. If you have missed any of the previous webinars, please go to my YouTube channel and you will see the recording of the previous 3 webinars. So today we're going to talk about the power of communication, and Nathalie, my friend and colleague Nathalie, is going to tell us more details about Chakra 5, which is the voice, the sound, or the chakra of communication. Before we begin, I just want to remind everyone, particularly if you're joining us or watching for the first time, this webinar is for you if you are interested in well-being and self-awareness. Okay, I'm going to remove the chat window. If you're interested in your own growth, if you're struggling or stuck in your life, this is an opportunity for you to work on yourself, to unbox, to have life mentoring, holistic life mentoring for free. Make use of it. If you want to be happy and joyful and you don't know how, hopefully Nathalie and I are leading you through that journey, so that you can gradually begin to peel the layers of the onion that we are made out of, and you can eventually come to your real identity and who you are. Finally, if you want to understand what it is to be human, a lot of the complexities that we face is simply to do with the way that we're wired as human beings through evolution. It is also to do with the way that we're made up. And we spoke about that and how complex it is to be human in the previous webinars. Very briefly about me, and again, you can see the details on my website. I specialize in helping people transform rapidly. You need to be committed, but I promise you that you'll take leaps and bounds. I have been doing this for over 28 years. I started as a professional psychic, and roughly over the last 28 years, I have worked one-to-one sessions with 14,000 people. I have also been acknowledged 3 times as one of the best 100 psychics in the world. I still continue to give live readings to my clients and those who know me from decades ago. I'm also a published author and a life columnist in the UK, and I was here also in the UAE since 2004. I studied civil engineering, and then suddenly my life changed and I went into self-development because I wanted to sort out my own life. I wanted to know what was important in life, what the priorities were, and why indeed are we here. And eventually I trained over 9 modalities. And what I do now is I teach the tarot as a tool for self-development, not prediction. And I teach dreams, interpreting dreams to help you understand your own dream dictionary. I teach numerology because that is our vibrational essence. When we talk about us human beings, chakra system, energy, the universal field, we're speaking of vibration because every chakra, every center where the energy lines meet have a different vibration, a different frequency. So pretty much we're connected to the whole universe through our chakra system. You can join Unbox Academy. I'm very happy to say I launched online Unbox Academy last year. Membership is lifetime and free. Please join there. You can see the webinars, you can see coffee breaks and other things absolutely for free. The purpose of the webinars is to help you hold yourself as accountable to the life that you have had so far. Once you stop blaming others for the life that you had, once you stop blaming others for the past that you had, you become truly accountable, truly ready to create the life that you want by design. So for me, accountability really gives us self-empowerment. There's nothing to be scared except when you face yourself at the beginning, but it does get easier as you feel more empowered because you're faced your shadow side. You can heal your past by understanding what has led you there and learning how to literally extract wisdom out of it. Once you understand the dynamic that has led you to the present, you can do the opposite to keep it simple, and you can go back into alignment and into life flowing again. Now, just to recap very quickly, in webinar 1, we spoke about what these hidden gifts are that we all have and how to start discovering them or uncovering them. We spoke about human technology. In webinar 2, and I'm using the colors of the chakras because I've asked Nathalie if we can relate it to what she also teaches, and she's got a wonderful online course on the chakra system. Find out more information on her website. So the colors correspond to the chakras, just to remind you. In webinar 2, we spoke about redefining who you think you are, because many of us have this limited identity that we define ourselves by our nationalities, our background, our culture, where we live. But hopefully you would have discovered in webinar 2 truly what it is, who we truly are. And essentially our essence is the thing that unites us, brings us together, and allow us to transcend the human personality that we think we are. So someone once said, once you let go of who you think you are, then you can be who you truly are. In webinar 3, we've reached the heart center. We spoke about living in the now, living from the heart, being true to your feelings. We spoke a little bit about differentiating between feelings and thoughts, because a lot of us think we are afraid or feel we are afraid, whereas we are thinking fear rather than feeling fear. And we spoke about how to connect with your true feelings. And we spoke about the difference between feelings and emotions. Today, we're going to talk about why chakra 5 or communication is truly important, because now, if you remember the chakra system, what we went through, we said that the first 3 represent the personality, the character, who we are now, who we think we are now. And as we evolve and become more aware, we get into the heart center, and the heart center is about being authentic. You cannot fake that. You cannot make it up. You may be able to pretend a little bit of the time to be someone, but truly most of our actions come from the heart center. We spoke also about the heart center being the center where you dissolve or conflict. Today, we're going higher. We're talking about, we started to enter the higher mind, the higher self, the eternal self, and all of that is with the throat chakra or chakra 5. Nathalie, do feel free to butt in.
I can butt in? I thought you muted everybody. Okay, yes, I can see myself.
You're on, but
yes,
attendants are muted. And welcome, Zain. We're gonna answer questions as usual at the end.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm late. Sorry.
No, not at all.
Nice to see you, Zain. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks. Sorry.
So we literally just started into chakra 5, into the power of communication. And I was saying that it is truly the expression of the soul, because this is where you distinguish or you link with your true essence. We each have a unique fingerprint, just as we have a unique pitch, voice, frequency that expresses who we are. So once we ring our throat, we sing through, or I wanted to say we ring that chord, we strike that chord, then we come into who we really are, our authentic identity. If you listen very carefully to anybody's voice as they speak, you can really tell if they're speaking from the heart, if they're making it up, if they're trying to seduce you and lure you in. Stuart Pearce is a voice master, and you can listen to my podcasts with him about the voice and the power of the voice. And he always used to say, if words arise from the heart, they will reach the heart. So when you say the truth, when you speak your truth from your heart, people listen, and there's no conflict, because there's resonance between the two heart centers, between the two eternal selves, if you will, and somehow the truth resonates and dissolves conflict. So the sound communication is truly important. This is also the center of dreams, because we're beginning to move into the unconscious as well. We're beginning to move into the layer of our unconscious programming. It could be negative or positive either, but this is all here. And this is why dreams are important. This is also the center of clairaudient abilities. Some people can see, they're clairvoyant. Some people can hear. So when you begin to move into this invisible layer, if you will, and link with truly with the wonder that the universe is. You may be able to hear things that other people don't, simply because you've raised your energy now, you're living from your heart center, and you're able to connect with the communication center. Think about when you were a child. What did you sound like? You sounded so naive and childish, and maybe you didn't even have words to express how you feel. But as we grow older, as an adult, you sounded different. You had more words to express how you feel. You were then truly more discerning about what you felt. So truly with the sound, or through the sound, maturity, evolution, awareness is reflected. So choosing the words is very, very important. Think of songs, of hymns, of prayers. If they didn't resonate or resound within your consciousness through the sound, you would not have remembered them. We would not have had the effect that they've had on us all those thousands of years. So sound is truly important. Choosing the right words is truly important. And watch yourself, observe yourself when you speak. You know, which center are you speaking from? Are you speaking from the lower center, the personality center, the inner child center? Are you speaking from the authentic self? Are you speaking from your higher self, your wisdom? Think of grandparents or someone you admire, a mentor you look up to, and just listen to their voice, to their vibe that comes across when they speak. You can truly tell a person's who they are. I wanted to say their character, but not only their character. You can truly tell who they are if you truly listen to their voice. And the voice is truly important when you have matured, when you have claimed who you are, when you hold yourself accountable. You will sound very different because all those fears, doubts, etc., would have vanished from your voice. So literally, as you take the breath in and as you breathe it out, your vocal cords will be resonating. You cannot lie. And who you truly are right now will be reflected in the power or lack of in your voice. Are you with me, everyone?
Yes, yes, we're here.
Excellent. So what does the sound do? The sound bridges what we're thinking with what we're feeling. So it's the vehicle through which we express level of maturity, discernment of our feelings, how self-aware are we of our feelings. It's just as the heart bridges between spirit and personality, the sound bridges the mind and the heart. As I said earlier, we're beginning to move into higher self, unconsciousness, dreams, etc. So it bridges your conscious self, your consciousness, which is the eternal self, with your authentic self, which is from the heart center, with your personality, which is your history since you were born. That is an amazing bridge. And all of that is discernible from your voice. What does that mean? It also bridges your mental process, how you think, how you process thoughts, how you process experiences that you went through. All of that is in your mind here, cooked up. So if it's cooked well, and if it's organized well in your mind, and if you have the right perspective, you will communicate that very easily, or you'll find it easy to communicate it through the sound. And truly observe people around you. Can you think of anyone, a friend, a member of a family, who perhaps not just stammers, I don't mean that in a negative way, but they're lost for words, or they speak so softly. It's kind of like, please excuse me, give me permission to live my life. All of who you are is truly expressed through your voice. So very important. The soul is expressed through your voice. And notice we're using the color blue. I'm wearing blue jewelry, all of that to get the vibe of the blue. And by the way, did you know as light, in the spectrum of light, blue is the fastest frequency of light. Scientists don't even know why, but it's fastest, yeah. And maybe the creator creates it through sound because first there was no light, first there was sound, and then there was light. So the sound is so important. Sometimes when I want to motivate myself, or if I want to remind myself of something, I would speak to the back of my hand, because when you do, you have better resonance. You literally hear yourself and it goes right through. So try it when you're saying affirmations, when you catch yourself, with mind chatter going on and on and on, just say stop and say it out loud. I am in control of my mind, or whatever it is that you want to say. Try it with the back of your hand and see how the sound travels in a much more profound way to your conscious and unconscious. So the chakra center, just to tell you very briefly, the front of the person represents how we receive the world, how we perceive it, right? Because you want to see, your eyes are in the front. Some animals have eyes on the sides, so that tells you something. But the back of our body is there's an opening for the throat chakra. But generally, this is how we see the world, and the back is how we express ourselves in the world, the will to express ourselves in the world. So if we feel really great, but we're unable to move forward or unable to claim our space, or we've lost our will, or we're not even sure what career we want to be in, all of that needs alignment. And it's probably because the back of the throat chakra isn't open. So in this diagram, which I took from The Hands of Light, this is one of the books that Nathalie and I studied for 4 years when we did the holistic therapy course, just to tell you that the chakras are dynamic, they're revolving or moving all the time. And this is how we take in the energy of the universe, and we leave our expressions as well through the chakras. So it's important that the two channels are open, back and front. So the back is the will and the front is the feeling. This is how we perceive, we feel, we sense, if you like, our outside world. It is called the professional center because, again, of this ability to synthesize information, to communicate it. And this is truly the will to create what we want in life. So remember that next time you want to be heard, truly make sure that you are connected with your heart center and that you can be heard. Don't speak softly, but don't shout, you know. Find your real sound. And I talk about that a little bit later on. If the chakras are closed, you would feel that you're a victim. You know, my life is not up to me. I blame this, I blame that, you know, everyone else for the failure, or that you are afraid of failure. When it's open, it releases all that pain because we communicate that, we don't get entangled in it. So look up entanglement and you will understand why it can really drag us down when we keep blaming, bringing up the past and blaming others for what happened into our lives. So what can you do to unblock or to keep your communication center open? You can choose your words. There was a great comedy series when I was growing up. It was called Mind Your Language. And it is truly important. Do you remember it?
Yeah, love it.
Because words make a difference. And they found there's a tribe in Africa. They don't have a lot of, they don't have the word for blue in their language, and that developed only much later. So they found that they couldn't really express how they feel because the word did not exist. And similarly in history, the blue light came into being, if you will, much later, like billions of years later. And this explains some historical accounts of why people describe the sea as red, because really they could not see blue. So I think only about 6,000 years ago, human beings began to see the color blue. So they couldn't discern the color of water before because the eyes were not as developed, but also the earth wasn't on that evolution, on its own evolution. So both things cause people not to see the color blue. What else can you do? Take responsibility of your own needs, because this is the center of expressing what you need. So if you want something, don't, pout. Don't, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't be like that. Express, talk about it. Say, can you help me? I need this. Or why did you say that? Did I misunderstand you? Instead of investing emotionally and creating problems for yourself, all you need to do is communicate it. Stop blaming others for your lacks is very important, because this also expresses our will and our ability to express our needs. So if we're able, that is the thing that enables us to achieve, to realize, to make real what we need in the world. So if someone is suffering from a lot of lacks, but I'm sure Nathalie will tell us more about that, it is because they cannot, first, they don't take accountability, they're blaming others for their lives, but also because they lack the will to express who they are and what they need. So the sound helps you create your needs and desires. I don't know how many of you talk to yourself out loud. I do. When I really want to have a breakthrough, I talk to myself. I have conversations even with the universe out loud, because sound is very important. The resonance of the sound stays for a long time because you cannot destroy energy. It will last. So literally every word you say, you use, the way you say it, the way you speak, the way you project your voice, all of that stays like a print, an eternal print. So just think about that and think about how you want to be remembered and how you want to leave your print in the universe. What else can you do? Generally have a hobby. You will be surprised of the number of clients when I ask them, what do you do for fun? How do you have pleasure? They don't. They work very hard, or they're busy raising a family or whatever it is that they're doing. And they look at me like, what a silly question. Like, are hobbies important? Yes. Because, do you know why? Because this is how you think, how you analyze, you communicate it, you express it creatively. So the sound is the result of having understood all of that. So if you want to create anything, you need to be able to express it. And when you have a hobby, it bridges, as we said earlier, it bridges the mind, your heart, and communicates what it is that you're designing to create in the world. So hobbies are terribly important. They nurture you, but also they help keep your throat center open. Speaking of color and vibration, the sound of the throat chakra, the center, for me, I don't know, Nathalie, if you use the same. For me, it's the E sound, as in the word see in English. So when you take a very deep breath and you sound the word E, that means your chakra is open if you can hold that sound. If you can't, keep breathing, keep working on it, and it will open up. So you can use the sound to open your sound chakra. Oh, there we are. So we came to the end of my section. Again, if you have any questions, we'll do that later. And I am going to take myself off camera so I can have a sandwich. And I would like to introduce or give it over. Nathalie, you can take over now. Do I need to do anything, or you can share now?
No, I'm going to share from my side.
And thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Right, I'm all excited to see.
Oh, hold on. Host disabled participants.
Why?
Please help me, allow me to
I
share.
didn't change anything from, I didn't change anything. Okay, I made you co-host. Is that okay now? You should be able to share.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant.
Thank you, I can share.
Okay.
Enjoy your sandwich. Okay.
It's not here yet, but I'm waiting.
Zain's laughing at us. Nice to see you, Zain. Okay. Social effects of Sahar. Thank you so much, Sahar. So much of that
I'm here.
resonated with me. Thank you.
Brilliant. Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to tell us a lot more, but I'm waiting. I can't wait to hear all of that.
Taib, yes, welcome everybody, and thanks for joining us. This is one of my favorite chakras as well.
I just
so
want to show you Mimi because she doesn't often come on camera. This is Mimi, everyone.
Oh, it must be a very special chakra for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my cat.
I hear her meowing now. Okay, I'll go off.
So I'm also wearing the color that's that explains a lot for this chakra. It's the turquoise or the light blue. Very quickly, as Sahar said, you know, our backgrounds were in the corporate world, and both of us had something happen to us that led us into looking within ourselves and delving into the studies, the holistic studies, and then taking it on as a career. For me, it was really that everything stopped. All of my issues, when I wrote about it, I said all of my issues conspired against me to make me stop and then rethink my life over. And studying all of these holistic studies and getting into the science of energy and the chakras, I can say that I changed a lot of physical ailments in my body. And one of them was to do with chakra number 5, that I coughed a lot. I suffered a lot from raspy throat and really allergic coughs. And now I don't have that issue anymore, and I'm very grateful. So everything that Sahar said, I would like to add a little bit on top of that to show you, if you can see, and if you're able to see, the area. Of course, when we say throat, so it is around the throat area, but it also involves the neck and the shoulders. So the physical location is the throat, neck, vocal cords, our mouth, teeth, gums, jaws, ears, all muscles in this area, the thyroid and parathyroid glands. So imagine how our thoughts can affect the energy in this part of the body, and then everything physically in this part of the body. So chakra number 5 comes to teach us about our right to speak, to be heard, and to hear the truth. It's also here to teach us about communication, creativity, like Sahar said, self-expression, fluent thought, and emotional independence. It does get damaged by a lot of things, namely mixed messages. You know, you don't know what to believe anymore, so it's not really the truth. Nice. Having to keep secrets. A lot of children are told, you know, or being threatened to tell. Like sometimes some parents or some adults tell a child something and then say, shh, don't repeat it or don't tell anybody. So keep this as a secret between me and you. That also can suppress the energy in the throat, because a child will not know what to share, what to be careful about, and create a few issues. Verbal abuse, definitely. Constant yelling. We have a fear of noise and words, and it blocks the energy in this part of our body. Excessive criticism, which blocks creativity, and then authoritarian parents when we should not talk back. I think most cultures around the world are changing that now and treating children as young adults, so they have a voice too, they have an opinion, which is great. And lies, obviously, because this center teaches us about the truth and our right to hear the truth. Anything to do with a lie will block the energy in the center. In fact, in my workshop on the chakras, and Zain took the workshop, she might remember that I use a live example for each one. And the example I use for this chakra is a lovely story. You might have all watched The King's Speech. And if you haven't, it's a really lovely movie, because it's a real life story about this prince who became the king. And as a child, he was the second child, and their nanny would always prefer his older brother. So when they had guests at the palace, the nanny would nudge or pinch this boy to make him cry, obviously. So the parents would say quickly, you know, shush him up, don't disturb the audience, take him inside. So what happened was that the mind of the child, still being so young, okay, every time the child would later on in life try to speak or express something, the mind would remember that very sad and painful incident and would say, I am not loved when my voice is heard, and therefore wanting to speak and express himself, and then taking it back created stuttering. So this is the link between our mind, the thoughts, our belief system, the emotional block that may create, and then the physical dis-ease that happens afterwards, and how you can just reverse it by believing that you can reverse it. In fact, in that movie, what happens is that he seeks a therapist who tells him, you wouldn't have been born stuttering, something happened in your youth. And eventually they find out, and he runs an experiment with him. So he has him wearing earphones with loud classical music, and he asks him to read from a book, and he records it for him. When he plays a recording, because he could not, the mind, his brain could not hear him speak, he could not hear his own voice, there was no stuttering. How amazing is that? Anyway, swiftly moving on.
Can I just say also, when we sing,
yes,
when we talk out loud, I mean, how many of you sing in the shower? Just do it. Yeah.
I get most of my ideas as well in the shower. I talk to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oops.
Okay, I'm gonna have my sandwich now.
Okay, a bit more about chakra number, about our throat chakra. So As Sahar said, it is the center through which we express our truth. When it is balanced, we have a resonant voice. And I also ask myself, what does that mean? It could also mean various things, but you explain yourself really well. You don't have a monotonous voice. So it is resonant that people can hear feelings. They can hear feelings. They can communicate with you. You go and you come. It's like a wave. And we'll look into a really nice experiment that I share later on resonance. It's all about vibration of sound, spoken or taken in as listening. Through our voice or the absence of it, we project an image of ourselves. Dominant or missing notes in our speech allow sound and voice therapists to help us become aware of our strengths and weaknesses and things that we may be dealing with on a psychological level. So like Sahar said about the tone of our voice and the pitch, a lot of times when people are scared, the voice also has some sort, I don't want to say personality because that sounds weird, but anyway, it does, the voice does also express something. And when we are scared, the voice can be, okay, yeah, it might be high-pitched and coming from the back of your throat. So it could be hiding behind here because it's also expressing your fear. When you feel well, you're not afraid, you're confident, you're speaking through your heart, the voice takes up a different space and it is really present and people can hear you really well. What else do I want to say? Yeah, that it is, like Sahar said, the bridge from the heart chakra into the raising of our consciousness, the physical space from where we speak or sing our love to our partner, the world, our gods and goddesses. And it's where we actually learn the importance and quality of breath. Obviously, the breath and air had to do with our previous webinar and chakra number 4, but without the nose and the mouth, we can't really breathe. Therefore, they are connected to chakra number 4, and this is where we take in the breath of life. Without the breath, we can survive less than 2 minutes, whereas we can survive a lot longer without food or water. Without the breath, the electrical system in our brain dies and we are termed brain dead. Therefore, the nose and the mouth taking in the breath of life, okay, and using it in the 4th chakra in the lungs connects us to the world, to the rest of the universe energetically and gives us life. There. Sound therapy is a very, very big thing. A lot of people are getting more and more into it today. It is so useful for our well-being on all levels, mental, emotional, and physical. And I just had to write down a few things that I read. Sound creates shifts in our brain waves, okay? So as our brain synchronizes its waves to whatever we are listening to, it gets affected by this external stimuli, okay? We align our brain waves to certain sounds and frequencies, we can create positive physiological reactions in our brain as well as in our body, and it can unblock a lot of emotional blocks. So sound therapy can help with sleep disorders, with PTSD, post-trauma, anyway, I forgot now what it stands for. Disorder, thank you, Sahar. Anxiety, depression, epilepsy, autism, attention deficit disorder, all of these disorders. Anything, sound can really heal because we are made of energy and we are vibration. Mona Delfino is a healer and a sound therapist and an intuitive healer. I read 2 of her books, and in them she explains how she used sound to heal a lot of her clients' issues. And she says one of the most basic things we can do for ourselves is, relating again to what Sahar said, just hum. When you don't feel well or confident, if you're a little bit scared, if you're facing anything, hum to the, and every person has, actually, it's like a fingerprint. It is a different vibration that you emit. So just hum to your own vibration and sound, and that will create vibrations in your body and it will help you heal from within. Sound therapy regulates emotions and alleviates stress. That's for sure. It is Deepak Chopra who said, the body is held together by sound. The presence of disease indicates that some sounds have gone out of tune.
Absolutely.
And I came across, while I was doing my research, again, for lots of examples to bring into my workshop, this example for resonance. Imagine this happening inside our body. So this gentleman, a German physicist called Ernest Chladni, he was labeled the father of acoustics. He was a mathematician and a musician, okay? He invented this disc called the Chladni disc now, and I have a small image of it at the bottom of the slide. At the beginning of his experimentation, he used something closer to the illustration I have above that image. So he had this thin metal sheet, and he would have either sugar or sand particles on it, just as a bunch, and he would use a violin, the violin instrument, to create vibrations, and then the sand particles or the sugar particles realigned and arranged themselves into all of these different designs. And you can look it up on YouTube and on the internet. They have lots of little videos to show you how this works. And nobody's telling these particles how to realign. They're just reacting to sound and to vibration. These images are of geometric shapes formed by salt on metal plates using different sound frequencies. And this is the order found throughout the whole of the universe. And this is how our body is affected energetically through sound vibrations. So we all resonate to color and sound energies. Now I can in my head imagine sound going in when I have any blockages or any illness, or I just don't feel well inside myself. Special sounds and humming, it's as if you're realigning, you're shaking, you create like a vibration on a very high level, of course, that realigns things. And I do believe that sound and vibration can heal illnesses. Not a long time ago, I watched a short video that was recorded somewhere in China, and it was recording a bunch of sound therapists who were chanting a certain chant around a cancer patient, and the camera showed them, and another camera would zoom into the monitor, and you could see the tumor. And after a while, of course, they cut the video short. It must have taken a while. All the humming and the vibration, you could see on that monitor the tumor disappearing. So all those special sounds and the vibrations went into her body, and obviously the patient also needs to believe and accept it into her body, and that's how sound is amazing and so healing. A bit more about this chakra. So we are balanced and well when we have a resonant voice, when we have a good sense of timing, when we have a good sense of rhythm, we have clear communication, we're good listeners, we live creatively, we have the will to teach or inspire others, we are more charming, we are content, we're inspired, and we're able to fully live in the present moment. Positive affirmations work miracles throughout the chakra system, and some of my favorites for this center are: I speak from my highest truth. I listen with compassion. I express myself courageously. My voice is important. Healing practices, Sahar showed us a few, and there are so many. Basically, physically, you could just work on loosening your neck and shoulders. That also helps unblock the energy that may be blocked in that part of your body. Learning communication skills. Journal writing is used across all of our chakra system. Inner child work and communication work. Practicing silence if you're a talkative person, and perhaps practice talking and sharing more if you're on the quiet side. Practice storytelling, take up singing classes, start chanting, and simply surround yourself with the color, which is light blue or turquoise, and even drinking your water out of color infused glass also helps with the energy of that color. Fantastic. I think we finished quite early today. I don't know if I'm missing any information, but I think we did really well.
Thank you, Nathalie. That was interesting.
Thank you, everyone. I think
Does
I went through.
anyone have any questions they'd like to share their questions? No, you can all express yourselves, choose your words well, and chant like hell in the shower.
Actually, I have a question. Do the sound vibrations, are they different from, let's say, listening to music and or classical music and or
No.
pop music?
When you listen to sound, the fantastic thing is, whether it's recorded or live, it goes through all of your skin, because the skin is a huge membrane that brings all your body together. So you'll get the benefit. But it is better to listen to music or sound on a good system. It is even better to listen to it live. So I really encourage everyone who watches this video, as well as you guys here, to go to live concerts. It's different. Also, the sound from drumming is amazing. I mean, it really affects all of your skin.
Yeah.
And if you cast your mind back to a lot of spiritual practices, you know, like the Sufi dhikr or zikr, you know, they do a lot of chanting. Many other disciplines do, because the sound is important. It travels to the end of the universe, as I said. You cannot wipe the thumbprint or the fingerprint of the sound. So yeah, you'll still get the benefit. And that's how the tumor was healed. Because sometimes you can do overtoning. So you do the same sound twice, which is like a laser. So it really kills the tumor. So there are doctors now in China also who kind of chant on a certain frequency for a certain period of time, and then they have noticed that the tumors do disappear.
But is this only specific to certain kinds of chanting?
No,
or is it
any sound? But to heal and
sound?
destroy a tumor, yes, you have to be at the frequency of whatever the tumor is, and you have to know how to do it. Yeah, and it's to do with the breath, and it's to do with maintaining the frequency for a certain period of time. You know, you cannot, for example, go for half a minute and then that's it. You have to be able to maintain it until it really penetrates and changes the molecular structure of those cells, which is how they heal. Like the slide Nathalie showed us, you know, the cells, the molecules really move, shift, and realign themselves. And very often they actually, when healthy, they depict certain forms in nature. Like, you know, they have their own sound print. You can't fake it. Like if a plant is well, it will have a certain shape when you do the sound resonance thing on a plate. Same with water, by the way. Izuru, you know, if you know about his work and how our sound affects the quality of the water. If you're negative, you're sending that vibe. You know, when people say, especially in the Middle East, darabni ain, you know, he cast the evil eye. He didn't do anything. It's probably his sound really upset you. He probably said something which is like a magic spell, you know, like, who told you you look good, saying in beige, you know? And then that's, that sound just went through, literally penetrated you and broke you down, you know? So this is why it's important to choose our words, choose our sounds, and then to communicate back, you know, like, what did you mean? I'm not really sure. Why did you say that? What made you say that? So don't kind of, you know, keep quiet and take it in. Here, and when we're open, and it's a lot easier if we know who we are, and if it is from the heart, then you're able to communicate back, and you don't accumulate a lot of traumas because you're dealing with them as they happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's easier to do when you're older than when you're younger and
because
being told.
Why? Because you have the maturity, as we said, because the sound bridges your mental abilities, your awareness. So when you have that awareness, you understand. But when you're a child, why do you get affected? Because as a child, you don't have the intellect to understand what's going on, what's people's motivation, what did they mean. So you're impacted emotionally without the understanding. But this is also the reason why we can heal, because you're older now, you're mature, you have a different perspective. So you understand this is what has happened because I miss whatever Sometimes we only misunderstand things, and it can still be traumatizing, but you're not this person that you were then. So you can heal. Even talking about it is important. You know, the basic level of counseling is just talking to someone, because when you communicate that pain, it leaves through the chakra, as we said earlier. So you're allowing it, you know, to process. Do you remember the movie Cabaret, when she used to go under the bridge and scream when the train is passing by, so she could let all her frustration go?
Oh wow, I never watched it. I should watch it.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah. Oh, it's iconic. And that's, of course, I saw it when I was much younger, and it affected me how she was really trying to express, you know, she'd just leave in the day, go by the train station and yell her head off to let go of all that frustration and during the war. And so sound is very important. And that's why we're in a good mood when we sing. You know, your whole body starts to move and you're expressing what you're going through, and that shakes off all the bad energy, whatever trauma, the misalignment, you know. So molecules can shift. We're always shifting. We're always changing. Every cell is always recreating itself.
How do you do it? Like, for example, my child who's 4 or almost 5 now, but I mean, my daughter, who's a twin, is very on the shy side. Like, she won't speak out much.
Let her sing.
How do you train them?
Sing. Do it in a fun way, with humor, with laughter. You know, that makes it easier to open up. Sing together. Go through the alphabet, sing the alphabets, anything like that will get her to open, and it's fun.
Yeah.
But sing with her. You know, if she's shy and a little bit sensitive, if you if you sing with her, then she's not so
No, she's at home, she's quite vocal, but outside she's a bit more reserved.
Don't make a case out of it, in my opinion. You know, just go ahead as if she's okay, and then she will realize, you know, there's no contrast, nobody's making a fuss over that, and then it will be a lot easier to open up. But maybe, for example, have one friend over where they sing, they chant, they're silly, and then 2 friends, and then 3 friends, and then, you know, build it up gradually. That's my personal philosophy. If you make incremental changes, you resist yourself much less. Because, you know, when you say diet starts tomorrow, your system goes, no, it doesn't, you know, and it fights you. But when you make small changes, your brain is not aware. Your daughter will not be aware that you're actually literally taking her out of the box. So incremental changes, do it with her, build up people around her slowly. Don't push her, you know, to do something she's not ready to, because that in itself will be traumatizing. And don't make a fuss about it. So the more that she recognizes this is okay, you know, like, it's okay if you don't want to talk about it. Maybe tomorrow you will, you know?
Yeah.
And then, it's not an issue.
Thank you, sorry. With Natalie saying like how you shush kids, or you always like see secrets. Like, I always tell her secrets because of the dynamics, let's say, with her brothers and stuff. I'm like, just don't tell them we're doing this. We're going to do this alone. So is that really bad to do?
I don't think that's a bad secret. No, you're like creating a bond between you and her. Yeah, it's a nice thing. Yani, as long as she does not interpret it as something or fearful of sharing. Yeah. Something bad to share.
Don't go like to an extreme, you know. You're just building confidence, you're sharing something in confidence, and that makes them feel special.
And you know, Zain, and I that also happened to me as a youngster. I was very, very shy. I had no voice at school. I lacked a lot of confidence and stuff. So if anybody, my aunt made it a point for me and her to sing at Christmas, at the Christmas table. I'd be very shy, but because she sang with me and nobody would make fun or judge, oh, you have a very small voice, oh, you missed it, or you did this, or so make sure there are no judgments, and make sure people have different voices. So it's not something that we're trying to perfect. It's just somebody that's enjoying. If she's enjoying herself and you sing with her, and even if there are, you know, wrong notes or whatever,
you know,
flat notes. Yani, just make it fun.
Things that children like, you know, the karaoke mics. With the music, whatever, they love to do that. Even if she does it on her own, it's fine.
And Kaman, let her trust the timing of her life. Anna, I started speaking out when it was right for me, and it felt good, you know. Anna, for me, you know. So your daughter is different, but just, you know, Don't
A lot
worry
of
about her.
children, actually, you know, my late husband was like that. I think he spoke very late, you know, for whatever reason. But, you know, when he spoke, he did speak. So they're often, you know, they're preparing their mind, they're reorganizing their thinking, you know, it doesn't mean anything bad. So, you know, as the British say, don't fuss, just carry on. And then she'll realize, you know, it's not an issue. And, you know, she'll think tomorrow, she'll talk tomorrow. But if you continuously keep telling her there's something wrong with you, that's what she will understand.
But I'd like to actually ask you something. You just mentioned that she's one of a twin. And her twin sister or brother. Is he the opposite? Is he more talkative?
Very social, yeah. Very social.
So one time I heard our teacher say that, you know, some people, like between me and a very close friend of mine back then, she was more of a thinker and I turned out to be more of a doer, you know, especially if they're twins. That energy might be at that age that she's the one thinking and he's the one speaking, and it will change with age, you know. So it's also maybe her role. She's more of the thinker behind whatever, and he's going to express it, and she will change with age.
Yeah, and maybe she feels conscious, you know, maybe everybody's fussing over him and then she feels, oh, I'm not the same, and then she's quiet. Yeah, but the point is, don't overanalyze, you know, just don't make an issue out of it. Encourage her diplomatically, you know, indirectly, and then she'll slip into it without realizing. That would be my advice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I just want to add one more example that I just remembered now. Last Christmas, I watched this documentary and I never knew the singer Charles Aznavour. You know him?
Yeah, of course.
He's originally Lebanese, right? You know that. He was told as he was growing up and at school and maybe at university anyway, when he understood what was being told to him, never to sing because he had a horrible voice and he'd be a huge failure by his teachers.
Wow.
So everybody has a special unique voice and has a path, you know, and has a timing. Imagine.
And your daughter will not be this way, you know. I mean, can you see her at 45, 50? I'm sure she's gonna talk, so don't worry. She will.
No, I don't point it out to her. It's just that she's much more reserved, especially with other people. I mean, at home she's okay.
It's okay. Maybe she's studying them. Maybe she's analyzing. As Nathalie was saying, I was also fantastically shy, terribly shy. But you know, that was a strength because it made me listen. It made me observe others. I learned a lot. I mean, I didn't know that why I was shy, but you know, looking back, it was really a blessing. So you don't know what's going on. So my point is, don't make her feel like she's got something wrong. You know?
No, I don't point it out to her.
I'm sure you don't, but I'm just saying, you know, that's the thing where people go wrong. They're over anxious, you know, they want the child to be perfect, to be normal, to do, but maybe there is, you know, the norm is different for different people. I am fantastically exhausted. I had a fantastic clearing out day and decluttering. Unless you have more questions, I'll be happy to close and to thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. Thank you, Zain and Huda.
Tomorrow is in Arabic.